Please rise. Gathered here in the mystery of the hour, gathered here in one strong body, gathered here in the struggle and the power, Spirit, draw near. Gathered here in the mystery of the hour, gathered here in the mystery of the body, gathered here in the struggle and the body, Spirit, draw near. Spirit, draw near. Gathered here in the mystery of the body, gathered here in one strong body, Spirit, in the struggle and the power, Spirit, draw near.
Good morning. Welcome to Valley Unitarian Universalist Congregation. I'm Reverend Sarah Oglesby Dunnigan, the settled minister here. My pronouns are she, her. And this service today is a chance to show the unique Unitarian Universalist lens on death, dying, and community care. We include a ritual for all ages and a chance to share with all ages what it feels like to be held by each other and how we will honor the lives of those we love. In our community, we bring many different cultural practices and religious and spiritual practices, from pagan traditions like Samhain to Mexican-American traditions like building an ofrenda for Day of the Dead, to a Unitarian Universalist version of All Souls Day. We bring diverse ideas and practices to hold our relationships with each other and the holy. And one of the ways that we care for each other is through pastoral care. Every week we have a couple of folks from our team who are available starting on Sunday to be a listening ear or helping hand in whatever ways you may need. Today in our sanctuary we have Carlin Knight. Carlin is up here in the front. If you need a listening ear today, Carlin will be available after service. She can meet you right up here by the rails. And online, we have Dan Schulte. They're both available through pastoral care at VUU.org. That's just a quick email address that lets folks know that you are wanting to speak with somebody on that team. And they'll be responsible for care for that following week. We do also have a program called Caring Neighbors. This is actually an opportunity that I have recently gotten to take advantage of because I did a little something. So Caring Neighbors, you reach out to folks who live close to you, right? This is a spread out metro. So we invite folks to, if you want to help bring a meal to someone. Several people helped feed my family this week. I really appreciate that. Not that I'm the only cook, but I am also out of driving right now. So people helped me get to and from a wedding this week and helped me pick up my car. So these are things that all of us can benefit from, the neighbors in our area when we have a need. So you can reach out to them at caringneighbors@vuu.org. And now you've learned something about our naming of emails. In general, today, this service will have some elements that include all ages, and there'll be a couple moments where we send out our youngest children first, and they'll get to add to the altar first. And then we'll do something with everybody and that's still here, and then we'll send out a couple more grades, and then our secondary aged kids, middle school and high school, will stay with us the whole time. So, welcome to VUU, and I'm going to invite a family forward to help us light our chalice. Jenny Pixler and her kids are going to come forward and light our chalice, and when they get up here, you all will help them with the words, and I'll help lead us too. This is Joan and Robert and Jenny. All right, y'all, let's walk them through with the words. We kindle this flame, symbol of our faith, for the light of truth, the warmth of community, and the fire of love, which calls us to work for justice. Thanks, you guys.
Our next hymn.
We've got one opening word reading, and then we'll sing.
Okay.
So these words come on this specific day for lighting the chalice. We light this chalice in honor of the memories that hold and heal us, for stories we tell of those whose heroism inspires our own, for the pictures of loved ones who have passed, in whose images we see our better selves, for the work of remembering that we stand on the shoulders of others who paved the path on which we walk and blessed us with advantages we didn't earn all on our own. May these memories of those who came before inspire us to pass on a better world to those who will come after us, and may their light guide our way.
Raise your hand if you remember Dr. Reverend Fred. Okay, he was our interim director before we got Reverend Sarah. So he wrote the lyrics of the song we're about to sing. It's hymn number 306. It's a new hymn to us. We'll try not to struggle through it. We'll try to feel it and enjoy it. But this one's easier than the closing hymn, which will also be new to us. So enjoy it. Lynn's going to play it through, and let's go ahead. We'll rise in body or spirit as she's finishing her playing it through so we can hear it first.
This morning, we're building an altar. Who knows what an altar is? Someone under 20 years old. Who knows what an altar is? Raise your hand. Do you know what an altar is? Yes, what is an altar? Shout it out. An altar is, and let me come to you.
An altar is a place for your loved ones to rest.
Perfect. That was just absolutely perfect. And we're making this altar today in memory of our loved ones who are now resting and are no longer with us. So I'm wondering if anyone, children, would like to help with the altar. We have a basket of gourds you can put on there. We also have some flowers you can put into so come on up. Come on up. Come on up. Add to the altar. Do you want me to intro the rocks? Yeah. We also have some pretty stones you can put on. And for those of you that are feeling creative, over here, on this table over here, we have some rocks. And we can write the name of our beloved ancestor who's gone on this rock, or we can draw a pretty picture, and then where these rocks will remain on the church grounds for the next year. So anyone can do that. You don't have to be a child. Come on over here and write the name of your loved one who is no longer with us. Come on up here and grab a flower. This whole area can be decorated. Put a gourd on there. All these fun things we're doing for those that are no longer with us.
And in a moment, our youngest kids, when you're done with your decorating, we will sing you to class.
Finished with your decorating, kids that are who are younger than 4th grade, please come and get a votive, and then we'll sing you out.
There'll be lots of time to do rocks, so if the line is long now, you can come back to the table. There'll be many moments to decorate the rocks.
Please rise. Go now in peace. Go now in peace. May the love of God surround you everywhere, everywhere you may go. Go now in peace. Go now in peace. May the love of God surround you everywhere, everywhere you may go.
And today's time for all ages truly is a time for all ages because it's a story for you.
Granddad's Prayers of the Earth by Douglas Wood. When I was little, my grandma was my best friend. Being with her always made the world seem just right. Grandma and I liked to go for walks into the woods together. We didn't walk very far or very fast or very straight. While we walked, I would ask her questions about things I wasn't sure of. Why is it, Grandma? I would ask. And what if? And does it ever? One day I asked my grandma about prayers. For a long time, Grandma was quiet. She didn't say anything until we came to the tallest tree in the forest. And then she answered with a question.
Do you know that trees pray?
I listened closely, but I couldn't hear them.
See how they reach for the sky? They reach and reach for clouds and sun and moon and stars. And what else is reaching for heaven but a prayer?
I thought about the trees and kept listening for them. And while I thought, I sat down on an old mossy rock.
Rocks pray too. Pebbles and boulders and old weathered hills. They are still and silent, and those are two important ways to pray.
I thought hard about the rocks. I picked up a pebble and stuck it in my pocket. We walked a little farther and came to a small stream. The water splashed and sparkled, and the tiny fish hovered in the shadows. Do streams pray too, Grandma? I asked.
Streams do pray too, and lakes and rivers and water of all kinds. Sometimes they pray silently like the rocks. They lie still and calm, reflecting clouds or birds or sunsets or the first evening star. Sometimes they pray with movement, flowing across the earth, giving themselves to the ocean, giving themselves to the sky, and beginning their journey all over again. Sometimes they pray with laughter, chuckling to their friends, the rocks, and sometimes they pray by dancing, leaping into the air and falling back again. These are all ways to pray, but there are more. The tall grass prays as it waves its arm beneath the sky, and flowers pray as they breathe their sweetness into the air. The wind prays as it whispers and moans and sighs. It is saying a prayer and singing a hymn at the same time. A bird prays when it sings the first song of the morning, and it prays in that silent moment just before it sings. And the robin's last song at sundown is an evening prayer. All beings in the world pray as they slip through the forest or sparkle in the water, as they climb mountainsides or soar into clouds or burrow into the earth. Each living thing gives its life to the beauty of all life, and that gift is its prayer.
Then we were quiet, my grandma and I. She was watching something far away, and I was thinking about all she had said about rocks and trees and grass and birds and flowers. Finally, I asked her to tell me about the prayers of people. She smiled and ruffled my hair.
People pray some of the most wonderful prayers of all. Bending to smell a flower can be a prayer. Quietly watching the sunrise, feeling the slow turning of the earth, and saying hello to a new day is one of the oldest prayers. Standing in the snowy woods on a winter day and watching your breath become part of the breath of the world is a way to pray. Making music or painting a picture can be prayer. Holding hands around the table with family and friends, remembering all that holds us together, and giving thanks is the greatest of prayers. Sometimes people pray when they are sad or sick or lonely or have a problem too big to carry themselves. They may say words they may have learned from their fathers or mothers or grandfathers or great-grandmothers, but often they must find their own words. The important thing to remember is that words will always be right if they are real and true and come from the heart.
We had walked far enough, and Grandma said it was time to go back. But I had one last question. Are our prayers answered, Grandma? Grandma smiled.
Most prayers are not really questions, and if we listen very closely, a prayer is often its own answer. Like the trees and winds and waters, we pray because we are here, not to change the world, but to change ourselves, because it is when we change ourselves that the world is changed.
My grandma and I went for many walks after that one, and I listened for prayers of the earth, but I was never sure I heard them. Then one day my grandma was gone, and no matter how hard I prayed, she didn't come back. She couldn't come back. I prayed and prayed until I couldn't pray anymore, and so I didn't for a long time. And the world seemed dark and lonely without my grandma in it, until one day I went for a walk. I found a big rock under some tall trees and sat down on it. Overhead, the branches swayed and a breeze whispered in the leaves. I heard a stream flowing nearby and a robin singing from a honeysuckle bush. And I heard something else too. Something in the sounds of the breezes and birds and water. I heard prayers. The earth was praying just like my grandma said. So I joined in. Thank you for tall trees and sweet flowers, for still rocks and singing birds, and especially for my grandma. And as I prayed, something changed. And my grandma seemed somehow near, and for the first time in a long time, the world seemed just right. Thank you.
We are not the first. We will not be the last. We are not the river's source, nor are we its end. Life flows on from the ancestors through us and beyond. Daily we are carried along as life streams on. Today we turn and look upstream and honor our source before turning again and plunging once more into life. Today we remember our ancestors, gone but remembered, left but revered, away but near our hearts. That which is remembered is still alive. Those we remember are with us still. We speak their names and we remember.
So today we invite you to join us in a ritual observed all over the world. Sometimes it's called All Saints or All Souls Day, a day of remembrance in which we make space for grieving. We do this because, in the words of Victoria Erickson, when there's a fresh wound in your heart, keep it open until it heals. Air it out. Understand it. Dive into it. Be fierce enough to become it. If you ignore it, it won't be able to breathe. If you ignore it, it will merely deepen, spread, and resurface later, wanting to release. And when later happens, it will hurt even more, because when later happens, you won't know what you're bleeding for. Remain with it until it clears, and watch the beauty pour into your openness. Remain open to feel lightness. Remain open to feel free. So come, let us share our memories of those who have left us this year, or many years ago, and celebrate their gifts and prepare to be present to the gifts that come to us through our lives. So we're going to enter into a time of remembrance. It may be a time for you of revisiting grief. That's okay. And for those of you who are younger, it's possible you've lost, instead of a person, you may have already lost a pet. And those of us who are older may have lost many pets. So there's many things that we may have lost over time, people and other beings. We'll remember all of them today. So it's a time of revisiting cherished memories. Everyone is invited to come forward and add to the altar in a moment. You can also add a name or a decoration to a rock and add it to the altar if you haven't already done that. You can light a candle in the back. You can write something in our pastoral care book, or you can move a stone and stand. All of those rituals are ways for us to engage together and also on our own. It's okay if the same person gets named more than once on our altar. We may have people in common that we are remembering. There's no limit to our desires to remember those we love. And so all of the ways that you engage in this ritual today are welcome. Lisa's going to lead us in a little bit of an ancestor-guided meditation. And as she's doing that, if you want to do a rock or light a candle, you can do that. When her meditation is over, we'll also sing a song, and you'll be invited to join in that or just to sit and listen. This may be a moment for you to just sit and take a deep breath and be quiet. So whatever way that works for you is what we invite you to do now.
When we connect with our ancestors, it reminds us that we're part of a larger tapestry. It's woven by the lives and experiences of those who came before us. So I invite you to relax. Let your mind's voice sink into the background. Focus on the sensation of your body. Know that anything you see, hear, feel is true. It is true for you. Get comfortable now and close your eyes. Take a few deep breaths through your nose and out of your mouth. Feel the gravity of your body pulling you down. The earth beneath will support you and hold you. See the light of the universe going into you through the crown of your head. Imagine the energy of the earth coming up through your feet into your body. These two energies come together in your heart to protect and to guide you. Now imagine you're in a forest. You see a long row of ancient trees, but one tree in particular stands out. This tree has the feeling of safety. You walk closer to it, and you see that there's a door. You open the door, and as you walk through it, you notice stairs going down. The stairway is lit by thousands of candles. It feels magical. It's beautiful. As you go down the stairs, step by step, you see the roots of a tree going down with you. They are intertwined with the roots of other trees, and at the end of the stairs, they form an arch over a tunnel. As you enter the tunnel, notice the shift into a timeless space surrounded by ancient trees that have been there since the dawn of time. As you step forward, the tunnel turns all kinds of colors. You keep walking through the rainbow-colored tunnel. At the end of the tunnel, you see a circle of light. It grows bigger and bigger. The light leads you to a beautiful meadow. You walk into the meadow, to a beautiful sunny day. You can smell the grass. You can hear the birds singing. And right before you, you see a person tending a small fire. You feel safe. You feel the need to learn about this person. You discover this is your ancestor. Greet them and notice, what do they look like? What do they wear? What's their hair like, their face? Are they young? Are they old? This person smiles at you and looks at you full of pride. They tell you today they have a gift of wisdom to give. You sit down by the fire, and your ancestor hands over a box. They tell you inside the box you will find a paper message. You'll also find an object that holds deep value to them. They've been waiting for you to come to receive this piece of wisdom. So take a moment to feel which message will you receive, and which object have they left in this box for you? Thank your ancestor for the gift. Ask if there's anything else that they have to tell you. When you feel the conversation is coming to an end, thank them. Send them love, but don't walk away. Simply take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. Put a hand over your heart, another over your eyes. And when you feel ready, open your eyes and come back to the room you're in. And always remember, this connection is sacred and is always there for you.
There is a love. You can join us as we sing, but remain seated, please. There is a love holding me. There is a love holding all that I love. There is a love holding all. I rest in this love. There is a love holding me. There is a love holding all that I love. There is a love holding all. I rest in this love. There is a love holding us. There is a love holding all that we love. There is a love holding all. We rest in this love. There is a love holding us. There is a love holding all that we love. There is a love holding all. We rest in this love. There is a love holding us. There is a love holding all that we love. There is a love holding all. We rest in this love. We rest in this love.
Later today, if you want to relocate your rock somewhere around campus, or if you want to take it home somewhere, we invite you to do that. And there's plenty more there, so if there's something else you want to honor someone or something else, you're welcome to do that. We do have a memorial garden on campus, and one place you could put your rock is in that memorial garden. It's back behind my office, behind the office building. If you've never been there, raise your hand. Okay, so that means everyone else in the room has been there. Raise your hand if you've been there. So somebody can lead you there if you want. It's always open. It's a nice, safe place to hang out and have a little quiet time. We also have a labyrinth, and that would also be a lovely place to put it. But obviously this is a large campus, and if you want to place your rock somewhere that you will remember in the garden or next to the garden or wherever, we invite you to do that. So I just want to share a little story with you all about a woman who is very dear to me. Her name is Marge Haney. She was a matriarch in Topeka, where I first served as a settled minister. And she held something every year for about 10 years that she called a fun-a-roll. Not a funeral, because it was going to be fun. She was all about the fun. And you can tell that from these pictures of her. She was really into hats. She had probably hundreds of hats and lots of fun, capey things. You know, I could imagine if I had been with her shopping, she would have helped me find this or one of the things that you saw Noelle or Lisa wearing today. She sort of every day was a different day for a costume for her. And everyone in Topeka and all around knew her. So she invited mostly women. I think for most of that 10 years, it was a women-oriented party for her funeral. And she invited women who were important to her, but also women who were important to the community. The mayor, people who were serving on city council, people who were leading nonprofits, people who were just showing up and doing amazing things in the community. And so it was kind of an opportunity to meet other people who were doing important work in the community. And her celebration was very particular. So in Topeka, there's a building that at the top of it is a restaurant. Now, I mean, it was only like 10 floors. So just remember, this is Topeka, Kansas, and you could see almost everything from that 10th floor and that downtown. It's not a huge place, but it was special, and she would cater it in. And then she always had invited somebody to do the prayer. I was invited one year to do the prayer. And she invited people to sing songs and read poems, sometimes to give a little speech. So it was a real event with an agenda and joyfulness, always songs. We always sang songs with her. Sometimes she was a member of my congregation. Sometimes she would show up early. She was in her 90s by the time I met her, and she would just show up and start playing songs at the piano, just randomly singing along, and people would show up and sing with her. It was great. She actually didn't always stay for the service because her husband had dementia and she had to get home to him. So she came to the before service gathering, sort of like our Dalai Lama group, and then she would occasionally play piano and then she would take off. But you never saw her without a hat. This is, in fact, one of Marge Haney's hats. And one of the things she started doing towards the end was she started auctioning off some of her amazing jewelry and hats and scarves and jackets as a way to raise money for a local hospice. And this was probably the most fun thing because some of them were truly signature items that people had seen her in for years. If I wore this hat, people absolutely knew it was Marge Haney's hat. And I had a jacket. She grew up on the Potawatomi reservation, and she had this beautiful beaded jacket that had you'll probably see me wear it like once here, because I don't think it gets cold enough here to wear it. But it's a felt jacket with this beautiful beaded piece on the back. And I bought that, and every time I wore it in Topeka, people knew who that originally belonged to, because everybody knew Marge Haney. If there was a way for her to help her community, she was like the organizer of organizers. She always knew somebody who could make something happen, and she connected people and resources. It was like breathing air. That's just how she showed up in the world. How many of you have met somebody like that? Those people are amazing, right? So she really made me think a lot about what we pass on to each other when we leave, because her 10 years of funeral created incredible connections between people in our community. But she also sort of, by giving us the objects that she used to wear, it was like anointing us to do the same work she had done. I can't wear the things that I brought home from her without thinking about both her and that legacy of caring and sharing and connection and fun. It makes me want to sing a song. It makes me want to invite a bunch of people to lunch. It makes me want to raise money for good causes. It makes me want to plan the next big thing that we'll do together. So I want to ask you to think about today What gifts have you received from someone else as they passed on? And what gifts or legacies do you hope to pass on? I think I'm going to let somebody answer that question even. Does anybody have a gift they've received or a legacy they want to pass on? Lynn? And the pass on that I'm going to give you is I've given you the mic, you get to give it to the next person.
I have photographs on the piano of my parents on their wedding day and then their 50th anniversary in 2003. Today is also would have been my mother's 93rd birthday. So she gave me the gift of music, which is part of why they're on the piano, because that's symbolic. But music has saved my life many times in my 61 years. And I hope that my gift of sharing with the congregation and others whom I play for or sing to is my gift to to the next generation. Oh, Barb. I don't know.
Barb and then Marilyn.
I didn't know you were going to do this, and I didn't think of it until you talked about your friend. For me, it's Sue Ringler, who was our administrative assistant here. Sue knew everybody in town, and she knew every nonprofit and every place where you could go to connect with someone who either needed help or could give help. And if I had known we were going to do this, and she would say, we'd say, we need somebody, and she'd say, got it, and she'd do it. And after she resigned here, she was taking what she described as her job of a lifetime, which was to coordinate caring services for the city of Tempe. And she didn't get to do that because she died. She got cancer and she died soon. And her memorial service was just spectacular. It was in Daly Park in Tempe. And if I'd known you were going to do this today, I would have been wearing a tie-dyed T-shirt because everybody in the place was wearing tie-dye for Sue. She was a wonderful, wonderful mentor.
Breaking my leg was the greatest way to learn how to delegate.
I didn't plan to say anything, but my picture there is of my daughter, Molly Lay, and she is the reason I am here tonight, or today, I mean. Some time back, I was going through religious dissertations in my life, going on, and I discussed it with her. And she woke up one night and couldn't sleep, and she did 2 pages of things you can do instead of go to church. So I thanked her, and I put it in a drawer and read it, and then she died 4 years ago. And I was going through those drawers, and I found this letter with all these things on it, and right that afternoon, she had had the whole back page was about Unitarian Universalists and a lot of different links. So I looked at some of them, and I called Reverend Sarah, and here I am. I've been here every Sunday I could be since then. So Molly was my reasoning.
Thank you, Nick. Anybody else want to share a gift they've received or a legacy that you hope to pass on? Something that you hope people will remember you for? We've got Melissa over here.
Laura, I think was, no, okay. My mom, many of you knew my mom, Lila, and she was a force of nature, and she loved to include people. So she didn't want anybody to spend a holiday by themselves, or so she would invite people over to our house. When I was growing up, we always had lots of people for holidays, and she also had this ministry. When she couldn't do dinner parties anymore, she wrote cards to people. So she wrote cards for their birthdays and anniversaries and get well cards and thinking of you cards. And so she was just one of these people who wanted to connect with people and keep connections going. And so that's my legacy, is that I spend a lot of my time connecting with people, sending people cards, and she was the one who inspired me to do that. And I do think it's meaningful for people. So I think about her. She died in 2017.
Thank you, Melissa. Let's take maybe one more. Did we have one more in the back? I thought there was, but if there's not, it's okay. You can bring it back. Okay. On that note, I'll just invite Melissa and Carl and Lynn to all stand where they are right now, just for a moment. I forgot to do this at the beginning. These three folks have been helping lead pastoral care here. Carl and Melissa took the mantle from Janet Cantley, who'd been leading that team for several years. And it's my goal to always have co-chairs who one rolls off and one rolls on, so that you don't feel like you're doing it forever. But we have leadership that gets passed on in a good way. So thank you, Carl and Melissa, for agreeing to do that. And we have a special singing group called Voices Lifted that does singing at bedside and shows up into some of our retirement homes and at people's hospital rooms and other places. And Lynn has taken the leadership of that. Lisa Bonine up here had been leading it for quite a while, and Lynn's been leading it. So and there's several other people in the group if y'all want to stand. I don't remember who else is in it. Carlin, Rebecca, and I think Mary's in it. So those are some of the ways that we take care of each other here. And I think all of those are really important. What our goals are for each other, how we care for each other, the legacies we leave, the gifts that we receive that we keep passing on, these are all very important. One of the reasons that we do this kind of service, for those of you who are younger, who are under 18, we want you to learn some different things about talking about death and dying, because we think in this culture it's okay. Just like we teach you in OWL that it's okay to talk about your body and to talk about sexuality, we also think it's okay to talk about what happens when we die, and also to honor and celebrate people when they die instead of being scared to talk about it. We don't really talk about taxes in here a lot, but I'm just going to say those other things that are inevitable we do talk about. And we want kids to know that celebrating is part of the natural part of life, and remembering people and the gifts that they give us is part of what happens when they're no longer with us. So that's why we do this ritual. Sarah's going to lead us in a little closing ritual for this moment. The other Sarah. We are Sarah squared today.
This ritual of connection is adapted from a variety of resources, including from Reverend Diana Davies, who's the minister that serves my home congregation in Taos, New Mexico. Our world is complicated right now, very complicated. So let's just start with a sigh. We're worried about each other, we're worried about the election, we're worried about the climate. It's complicated. Another sigh. Now place your hand over your heart. Feel your heartbeat. Lub-dub, 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 lub-dub. Now take your other hand and get ready to hit something. Not your neighbor, but maybe your lap or a hymnal if you have one, and recreate the sound of your heartbeat. Listen. You're connected with each other through your heartbeat, with love at the center. A little louder. A little louder. Softer. Very soft, but still your heartbeat. Now make gentle eye contact with the people around you. Look around the room. This is your faith community. This is your refuge. Feel the love at the center of our common values. Feel your own heartbeat. Now stop the drumming. Feel your own heartbeat. Soften your eyes. Bring them back. Be here with us. Amen.
Blessed be. We're going to pass the offering, and if you're a guest, know that your presence is gift enough. This is one of the many ways that we help support the life of this community and the work that we do together, as well as the work we do with other organizations. And as we pass the baskets, we're going to have some special music from these amazing folks up here. So thank you in advance for your generosity of spirit and of resources of many different kinds, some of which are actual money, but some of which are the gifts you bring that we just talked about.
Bum 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 bum
Listen more often to things and to beings. Listen more often to things and to beings. Tis the ancestors' breath when the vital voice is heard. Tis the ancestors' breath in the waters of the waters. Those who have died have never, never left. The dead are not under the earth. They are in the rustling trees. They are in the growing woods. They are in the crying grass. They are in the morning rocks. The dead are not under the earth. So listen more often to things than to beings. Listen more often to things than to beings. Tis the ancestors' breath when the fire's voice is heard. Tis the ancestors' breath in the voice of the waters. Those who have died have never, never left. The dead have not packed with the living. They are in the woman's breast. They are in the wailing child. They are with us in our homes. They are with us in this crowd. The dead have packed with the living. So listen more often to things than to beings. Listen more often two things, then two beings. 'Tis the ancestors' breath when the fire's voice is heard. 'Tis the ancestors' breath in the voice of the waters. Ah, whoosh.
I'm going to invite Carl to come do our closing words with us today. Page 16. I think that's a good invitation for us to take some breaths, too.
Give up the world. Give up self. Finally, give up permanence. Find God in rhododendrons and rocks, passers-by, your cat. Pair your beliefs, your absolutes. Make it simple, make it clean. No carry-on luggage allowed. Examine all you have with a loving and critical eye, then throw away some more. Repeat. Repeat. Keep this and only this. What your heart beats loudly for, what feels heavy and full in your gut. There will only be one or two things you will keep, and they will fit lightly in your pocket. Hold a hand, lean in, come closer together. We may leave this place, but we will carry the love and generosity shared here with us throughout the week, returning for renewal and connection.
Blessed be.
Please rise in body or spirit. This is called Rising Green. It's another hymn that's new to us. For those who like to read the music, if you've got a hymn book with you. By the way, they're in the back along that wall. You can always grab a hymn book if you like to read music. So this is 1068. Please forgive any difficulties that we may have. It's a beautiful hymn, though, and it goes so well with the theme of nature and ancestry. So Lynn is going to play it through just the melody line so we can hear it. And then we'll join in with the first verse, with her playing just the melody line still. And then she's going to accompany us, and hopefully we can hold the melody line as we continue through the 4 verses.
We can do it.
Yeah.
You can do it.
Even the page turning is super complicated, so. Okay, Rising Green. Here's the melody.
Before we extinguish the chalice, I want to let you know that we have folks from out of state who are visiting to help us with UU the vote. So I hope you'll come back here. They're all raising their hands. Do it again. Thank you. They're all over the state, folks from out of state, helping us UU the vote, and come back to the table and learn how you can help in this last 2-week push. There's things to sign up for. You can do fun things that don't break your leg like I did, but there's lots of opportunities to door knock and phone call and text bank and do all kinds of cool things. So we hope that you will come join us for that. So with these words, let us extinguish our chalice. If you're new and you want to visit with us in the Welcome Circle, that's also back here. And I believe we have tons of refreshments back here if you'd like to come get something to eat and visit with folks. I encourage you to do that. It's a beautiful day. So, though we extinguish the chalice, our connection to each other and this community remains. May its light guide us this week as we walk the path of justice, speak words of love, and fill our world with compassion until we meet again. Blessed be. Go in peace. Take a picture of the stuff before we take it down, so maybe give 5 or 10 minutes for everybody to get pictures, and then you can take your stuff home with you. Thanks.